Municipal Stadium, Cleveland, December 24th, 1950. The Toe wins another pro football championship for the Browns.
To me, that was the greatest single football game I ever saw. I think it was the greatest array of players in one given game. Many, many of them are now in the Hall of Fame. The Waterfields, the Van Brocklins, the Grahams, Lavellis, Groses, they were innumerable.
The 1950 NFL Championship game between the Los Angeles Rams and the Cleveland Browns featured 11 future Hall of Famers. No other game in history can make that claim. Both teams had sleek offensive attacks that stamped them as pioneers in the pro football world. And yet until 1950, the Browns had not played a game in the National Football League.
We had heard a lot of the Browns. They had dominated that All-American League that we're in. And Otto Graham, of course, was one of the greatest throwers of all time, and their team had great balance.
They had some awfully fine football players. You know, when you talk about Graham and Max Speedy, Lavelli, Dub Jones, Marion Motley, those are football names that are pretty well etched in history, you know.
The Rams had their share of all-timers at 1950. They established an NFL standard, averaging nearly 40 points per game. One more element made this game a compelling study.
The Rams left Cleveland that year to go to Los Angeles, and we replaced the Rams in Cleveland. So here they were coming back this next year, having been in Cleveland, playing in Cleveland against the new Cleveland team.
We went back to Cleveland on a very, very cold day, and the field was frozen.
It was a bitter cold day. It seesawed back and forth. Waterfield was doing a great job in there, and so was Graham.
One of the most powerful football dynasties ever built is the handiwork of a balding genius by the name of Paul Brown. This slightly built, nattily dressed individual has rolled up a series of pigskin victories from Massillon High to Ohio State to Great Lakes, and finally the Cleveland Browns in the National Football League. That should rank him as one of the truly outstanding football coaches of all time. They have said for years that Paul Brown has called every play of his teams from the bench. How his guards shuttle in and out from the sidelines to the field before and after every play is well known to football fans everywhere. If this is true, Brown can look back to an unbroken string of football championships, the like of which may never be equaled, and feel proud of his result. When the All-American Conference was organized in 1946, Paul Brown's hand-picked team, composed of such stars as Otto Graham, Marion Motley, Lou Groza, Max Speedy, and Dante Lavelli, just to name a few, dominated the league and ran roughshod over all opposition to wrap up 4 championships in a row. When their conference merged with the National Football League in 1950, the so-called experts figured the honeymoon was over. But the record books will tell you that the Browns never broke stride. In their first year against the toughest kind of competition, they won their division title and then went on to shade the Los Angeles Rams 30-28 to capture their 5th straight championship in one of the most thrilling playoff games ever seen. In a startling finish, the Browns came from behind to win the contest in the last 20 seconds. When the Los Angeles Rams came back to Municipal Stadium in Cleveland on Christmas Eve, it was their first visit since they had headed west after winning the 1945 Conference Championship. Few members of that 1945 squad remained, but Bob Waterfield, the great quarterback, was still the big star. The game was a brilliant passing duel between Waterfield and Otto Graham. This was football at its thrilling best. The very first play of the game brought the fans to their feet. Right after the opening kickoff, the Rams scored a touchdown. Waterfield fired a long pass to Glenn Davis in the first 27 seconds of play, and the former West Point star galloped 45 yards to pay dirt. Waterfield's boot made it 7-0, and the Cleveland fans sank back in gloom, expecting the worst.
I just outran the linebacker who was trying to cover me. So I was wide open, and Waterfield just lofted the ball to me, and it accomplished about 80 yards for a touchdown. Good way to start the game. We were very pleased with it because we'd been working on it for 3 or 4 days.
The Browns, however, couldn't afford the luxury of worrying. 6 plays after the next kickoff, they had tied the score. tie didn't last very long. The high-flying Rams came right back. An 81-yard drive in 8 plays put them up front 13-7, and another Waterfield conversion made it 14-7. Second period just meant defending different goals. The crossbars looked the same no matter what end of the field they were on. In 8 plays in this period, the Browns rolled off 65 yards for touchdown number 2, with Graham passing to end Dante Lavelli for 35 yards to make it 14-13. Cleveland trailed by 1. Then something happened to set the stage for the unbelievable tension that would come later in the game. On the conversion attempt, the pass from center was high. Tommy James, who held the ball for Lou Groza, couldn't get it set in time. Thinking quickly, he got to his feet, dashed a few yards to the right, and threw a hurried pass into the end zone to Captain Tony Adamley. It reached his fingertips, but fell off. That miss was a big difference, as the first half ended 14-13. And as the game progressed, it seemed to grow greater and greater. Cleveland barged into a 20-14 lead early in the third quarter, but every new score encouraged the opposition to come right back, and that's just what the Los Angeles Rams did. Waterfield uncorked 3 great passes in succession to place the ball on Cleveland's 17. And from there, Dick Horner carried 7 straight times, finally pulling it over from the 1. The point-after touchdown put the Rams in front once again, 21-20. After the kickoff, it looked like the Browns were once more on the march. On their own 20, Marion Motley took a wide pitch out from Graham. He roared around his own left end for 8 yards. Then cornered, he turned and tried to find an opening. He was tackled hard and dropped the ball. A Rams end scooped it up on the run and made for the goal line. He avoided tacklers who had shots at him and just made the touchdown marker, stumbling across for the score. Another kick by Waterfield, and the Rams had a breather, 28-20. But, as I said before, one score brought on another. An intercepted pass on Cleveland's own 35 provided the springboard from which the Browns came right back. Graham completed 5 passes to the glue-fingered Lavelli to move the ball to the Los Angeles 47. It was 4th down, and a yard to go for a first down. Graham never hesitated. He took the gamble and carried the ball himself, sneaking through to the 40 while the crowd shouted as though he had tied the score. With 14 yards separating his team from the goal line, Graham passed to Rex Baumgardner in the end zone. It clicked. Peerless Otto had come fighting back. Rosa kicked the extra point, but Cleveland still trailed 28-27. That missed conversion had come back to haunt Paul Brown like a giant white ghost.
Municipal Stadium, Cleveland, December 24th, 1950. Rams battle Browns for Pro Football title.
We're in the closing minutes of this great ball game between the Los Angeles Rams and the Cleveland Browns at Municipal Stadium in Cleveland. Fans, this has been a bitter, hard-fought struggle down there on that frost-bitten field. The temperature is about 7 above zero. It's clear and very cold, and the Rams lead 28-27 with 2 minutes of playing time remaining in the fourth quarter. Cleveland was on the march a few seconds ago. They were deep in Rams territory, but the ever-reliable Graham fumbled the ball after picking up 7 yards through the line, and Los Angeles recovered on their own 22. This could be the end for the Browns, and a lot of folks think they've had it.
We were leading going into about 3 minutes of the end of the game, and all we had to do was control that ball.
We couldn't make a first down, so we had to kick.
The ball is snapped, and Waterfield gets off a high spiraling boot. Flip Lewis, Cleveland picks up the ball. He's up to the 20, the 25, the 30, where he is hit by a hole.
And we didn't have much time, maybe a minute to go.
It's 1st and 10 for the Browns on their own 30. Can they do it? Time is running out, and that goal line is 70 yards away. With the Browns in their huddle, there's no question in anyone's mind what Graham is going to do. The Browns come out of their huddle with Graham calling signals over the center. 1.5 minutes left in the game. The ball is taken by Otto, and he fades back to pass. He can't find a receiver. Now he moves into that pocket, and he's going to run with the ball. He's up to the 35, the 40, the 45, before he's hauled down. But it's enough for another first down. 28-27, Rams lead. The Browns out of the huddle quickly. About a minute to play. Graham once again calling signals. Back again to pass. He's looking for a target. Now he lets go toward the far side. And Rex Baumgartner comes out of nowhere. Leaps high in the air to put it in. And steps out of bounds to stop the clock. Another first down for Cleveland on the Rams' 30-yard line. 50 seconds to go. And the ball is placed 15 yards in from the sidelines. Browns ball, 1st and 10 to go. Out of their huddle quickly, Graham once again takes the ball and looks for a receiver. He can't find one and throws it off to his left, incomplete.
Graham got out of a deep hole several times. He scrambled around. He kept the ball alive. Somehow he made it.
It was vintage Graham, a large part of the reason why, in 10 seasons with the Browns, he quarterbacked in 10 championship games. Skillfully, he had the Browns at the 10-yard line with 30 seconds on the clock.
It was at this point I sent in the place-kicking unit, and our guys in the sideline started shaking hands with each other and as if the game was over. This was a cold, raw day, and I said, don't do that. If I had a feeling it was bad luck or something, but we settled down quickly.
Now Graham is looking toward the Cleveland bench, and Luke Rosa is coming into the ball game. The toe comes running on the field. The offensive squad for the Browns lead, throwing their helmets in the air and slapping each other on the back. Everything now depends upon the big toe of Rosa. Rams lead by 1 point, 28-27, 28 seconds to go. The teams line up once more. The pressure was never greater. With the Pro Championship of the world, the much sought-after prize. Time's back in. Signals are being barked. Tommy James is back to hold the ball for Groza with his knee resting on the 16-yard marker. The ball is snapped. Groza draws back his foot, boots it. It's up in the air. The referee throws his hand straight up. It's good. Final score, Browns 30, Rams 28, and Cleveland rides to victory on the toe of Lou Groza once again.